Ozonics Killerwinds podcast back again. I'm Cole Tanner.
I'm Nick Simon.
Today we have got a little bit of a riff sesh, is I think what we're calling this.
Yeah, we're just riffing today.
We're just getting after it.
Yeah.
This one today is called Would You Rather?
Yep.
So one thing versus or against the other.
Yes.
We've got 11 of them that we've kind of written down. We're going to go top to bottom in the order to keep it randomized a little bit.
Yep.
It's not that they're not already random, but for some reason I just think that's the way we should do it.
Yep.
So we just jump right in.
Yeah, I think so.
Not much intro today.
And Cole, he's going to argue every single thing I say.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So, yeah, that's the other big main point. I am going to argue the opposite. So you get to pick everyone first.
Yeah.
Even if I agree with you, I'm going to argue the opposite.
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
This might be actually harder. It might be harder on me than it'd be on you.
There's no chance.
Yes.
There's no chance.
Yeah, I think it's going to be harder on me. Because some of them I will probably, a lot of them I probably agree with you. We'll see how it goes. We're just going to.
I'm looking down the line, and I think you'll be surprised. I think we're going to differ on a lot.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Well, I already know one of them for sure.
Yeah.
Just because you're from Wisconsin, but.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. All right, let's just jump in.
Okay.
Non-typical. So would you rather shoot a non-typical or a typical whitetail deer?
A typical.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just a big typical.
No.
I just love it.
Big non-typical. Typicals are so typical.
Well, I just like it because it's just like.
How often do you see non-typical out in the woods? How often? Very, very rarely.
Yeah, very rarely. But I like typical because it's just a good, clean deer. Not typical. They got genetic issues.
It's the same thing every time you look down. It's not changing. You keep looking down at your paper.
I'll go with typical.
That's a wrong answer.
Because I don't know. I like just a big, I don't know. I just think they're cool.
Oh, I think you have a nervous tick today. You keep going like this. I'm going to razz you so hard.
Stop.
So I'm going to go with non-typical.
Okay.
One, because I have to argue the other side. But two, non-typicals are way cooler. How often do you see a non-typical when you're hunting? Very rarely. You see typicals all the time.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if a big double dropper walks by and a big mainframe 10 walks by, you're going to shoot the big mainframe 10 first?
I mean, I guess it just depends.
Nope. If they both walk up and they're both standing there, which one are you going to shoot?
And they both score the same?
That's kind of tough.
Because obviously if one walks by, obviously I'll always shoot the bigger of the two. But
let's just say they're equivalent in size.
Okay.
And a big non-typical walks up with double drops, trash. He looks all sorts of awesome. And a big just mainframe 10 walks up. You're going to shoot the big mainframe 10?
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know. There's just something about a big typical buck that I really like.
Yeah.
I just think, like the deer that you have in your office, I look at that thing all the time. I'm like, gosh, that is just a sweet deer.
Yeah.
Just because he just carries length all the way through his tines. Like, I don't know. I just really like that.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that there are probably more typical than non-typical deer walking around.
Yeah.
But interestingly, when you look at like high scoring deer,
yeah,
it's probably a lot harder. It seems like it's a lot harder to get a high scoring typical buck.
Without a doubt it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because a lot of times when deer get on the older side, they start
throwing some junk and
throwing something off the side, or they throw stickers, or they throw a drop tine, or just something.
Yep.
And so then all of a sudden they're non-typical.
Yeah.
And so to get a big mainframe typical deer is kind of almost a little bit harder than you think.
Yeah, it really is. And I was listening to something, or I saw some TikTok or something, and they were saying that the next world record typical will probably be a 4-year-old.
Really?
Because once they, pass that four years, that's when they see a lot of deer start throwing abnormal points and whatnot.
And then they don't classify as a typical
exactly.
deer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, a non-typical deer clearly has some like genetic type issues with it because they're not supposed to grow like that really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would just say that if two deer walked up and they both were the exact same score wise or whatever you want to say, same size, like you couldn't like distinguish in the moment, and they both walked up and they were both standing within bow range and you could get a shot of both, I would definitely shoot the non-typical.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a super good question. Like, it made me think for sure.
Yeah.
You know, in that situation, who knows? Maybe I would. Depends what it looks like.
Well,
you know, but I'd say as a whole, I'd say typical.
Yeah. All right. Well, agree to disagree. Since I still have my paper and you had a temper tantrum and to throw yours, I will check that one off the list. Check. All right. Next one. This one's going to be hard for me.
Okay.
I already know what your answer is going to be. Would you rather hear an elk bugle or a turkey gobble?
Turkey gobble. Turkey gobble.
I disagree.
No, you don't.
I know I don't, but I have to disagree because that's what we're doing in the game.
Yeah. You know, this year was the first year I heard an elk bugle, and I thought it would rev my engine just a little bit more, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
Not as much as I thought. It did. I shouldn't say it didn't, because it did. It's very cool. But there's just something really special about a cool, calm spring morning. They're just hammering on the roost.
Or hammering on the ground, or just hammering anytime,
I don't know what
anywhere.
It's just something about it, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And like the elk, it was super cool to hear the elk bugles and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm just more into the turkey gobble.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say about that is, you know, I feel like if you looked, and again, at where turkeys live and where elk live, there's a lot more area where turkeys live.
Yeah.
So to hear an elk bugle is a little bit more of in a lot of places, more of a unique thing. You think
is. Yeah.
You know, it's not that elk didn't used to live in Iowa, because there used to be elk in Iowa all through the Midwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elk are actually a plains animal.
Yeah.
You know, that we've kind of just pushed them into the high country. But so at one time people would go out and hear elk bugle around here.
Right.
But I think that's my argument to say with elk bugles. It's the cool thing about it is such a unique sound because you don't hear it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go out in the woods basically from middle of March until even into June. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can hear turkeys gobble. Heck, we heard them this fall.
Yeah, in the fall we did. Yeah.
Yep. They'll sometimes just shock gobble for whatever apparent reason.
Yeah, that is actually a really good argument, because it's like if you're hearing an elk bugle, you know that you're in a pretty sweet situation.
Yeah.
And you have a cool opportunity in front of you, kind of, you know what I mean? So.
And I would also say that elk bugling I think is cooler because it's such a tight window.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like a way tighter window when elk actually really start heating up.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us. We went to Idaho for 10 days and we heard a few bugles, but
under 10 probably.
Yeah, but if that was the same thing in the spring turkey rut, you would have heard a lot more gobbling.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah, we heard that, and then we went to Montana, and it was like nonstop bugling.
Yeah, it was like Jurassic Park elk hunting. Yeah, just constant.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Which we have a separate one.
Do the gobble.
The cool thing about that gobble is that's an actual real audio from one of our hunts this spring.
Yeah.
When we had a turkey that came in behind us and was right on top of us.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have been any closer.
No more than 5 yards, probably.
If you were sitting in the blind right now, he was not even that, dude. He was way closer. Dude, he was literally like right on the other side of the blind.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that footage of him crossing the
couldn't have been 6 feet away.
Yeah. That footage of him crossing the fence line right to our left. Cole could have like reached out and touched him.
Yeah, he was really close.
That was cool.
It was crazy that he crossed where he did.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I love hearing elk bugle, but I'm arguing the other side of the point here, but I will say if I had to pick one or the other, there's just something about, and I don't know if that's just being that we're from the Midwest.
It's got to be.
Because I think if you ask guys in the Midwest or the South, they would all say turkey gobbling.
Yeah.
If you ask guys, west of the Missouri River, not the Mississippi River, but west of the Missouri River, guys are going to tell you, man, I love hearing elk bugle.
Yeah.
And elk bugle. And it is really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's just something about it that just fires me up.
Yeah.
Not that an elk bugle isn't exciting, but I just don't get as charged.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I hear it. When I hear a turkey gobble, it's like I just want to hear another one.
Yeah, me too.
I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again.
Yeah.
But when I hear an elk bugle, it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, here we go. Whoa.
Easy.
Almost
easy.
technical difficulty. All right, cameraman. Would you rather hunt with a cameraman or would you rather hunt without a cameraman?
Oh, man. This one's really tough for me.
Because you're the cameraman.
Yeah.
But even in your own hunting.
It's really hard for me because I really am obsessed with like filming hunts and stuff like that. But I hate being on camera. And I think you probably saw that this year.
We will play a clip right now.
It's a beautiful morning today. We're in a new spot that we... We're in a new spot. How should I say that? How should I say that? We're hunting a new spot today.
You know, we have been doing some depredation hunting in August and September, and then in September we were gone quite a bit, and then we came back and it was like beginning of October. So I was like, it was the first morning.
First morning.
Yeah, it's like
opening morning of bow season.
Hey, why don't you hunt today? And Nick was like, really? I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. Like, you know, kind of had this permission spot that I had permission for. Like, oh, you know, see if something walks by. And you were like Ricky Bobby on Talladega Nights. You didn't know what to do with your hands. You were like talking about being in a spaceship, and you were asking me if it sounded good, and it didn't. I was trying to be nice.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a tough one because I do really like filming, and like getting a kill shot on camera is just so cool.
Yep.
It's so fun. But I don't like being in front of the camera. So it's like,
yeah.
So it's that's a really tough one for me.
You better pick cameraman because I can't argue with a cameraman.
Okay, fine. Well, it's I shouldn't say cameraman. I should say I love hunting with a camera in the tree with me.
Yeah.
So I can capture some stuff, but I don't like the camera being on me.
Yeah.
So as a whole, like if I go hunting, like there's no matter what going to be a camera with me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like I'll
so you probably would say the cameraman.
Yeah.
Camera/cameraman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I would definitely be the resounding no cameraman.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't care about being on camera. That doesn't bother me, or I care about that worth a lickety.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just the hassle of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's just the hassle of everything.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that just comes from the fact that, and again, I wasn't a videographer for 30 years, but I did it long enough that I just kind of got tired of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if that's how I end up getting at some point.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Go ahead.
I don't know if I will.
Yeah.
Just because I do like it, like really, really a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun to me.
My thing and it's interesting, my brother-in-law had this conversation with me before I started working out in Colorado, is he's like, man, dude, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I'm like, why? And I hadn't, I had done a lot of videography stuff with my degree,
Yeah.
The journalism program at Iowa State has all their videography, broadcasting, all is in that program.
Yeah.
So I'd done a lot of that, and I understood what to do and the creative side and the producing side and da-da-da-da. But he was like, man, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I'm like, why? And he's like, dude, you make this your job. And he's like, I'm just afraid you're going to get burned out of it. I'm like, really? And I thought that was crazy. I'm like, that's crazy talk. Like, I want to get burned out of it. And that was pretty true. I kind of did.
Yeah, you do for sure.
It all of a sudden your passion kind of becomes your hobby, your passion becomes your job.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's not really your hobby anymore. It's your job.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a fishing guide and all you do every day, all day is go fishing, go fishing, go fishing.
Yeah.
When it's your quote unquote day off, you're probably not going fishing.
No, yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
It's like when it was my day off, like it's not that I didn't want to go hunting, but I was just like, I didn't want anything to do with the camera.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like work.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny you say that too, because like, this year there was a couple weekends where you went with Jet and I went by myself, and like I still brought the camera.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of worry about that sometimes too, because like there's even at some points like throughout this year, like I was getting burnt out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like
it's hard to keep the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard not to just kind of fall into just like, okay, well, we're driving out there.
Yeah.
We park the truck. We got to put our gear on. You walk out there, and all of a sudden you're like, crap, I haven't like filmed anything. We've been in the tree for an hour.
Yeah, and that,
and like you can't just all of a sudden be like, how'd we get here?
Yeah, exactly.
Just didn't.
Yeah.
poof, and we all of a sudden appeared in the tree stand.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
And I think that is the hardest part, is keeping that creative, I guess you could say, creative motion throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
And I that's something that I'm trying to work on too. Like, we've been talking about that a lot lately. But yeah, I do worry about that a little bit too, because like hunting is still my passion over the filming.
Yep.
And so it is a little weird to like be in the industry and like be doing that as my thing. And like I'm hunting a lot, but I'm really not hunting. It's very weird.
Oh, dude, believe me, I'll tell you what. I think we've had this conversation before, but when I used to be a videographer and when I guided, I'd run into guys all the time.
Yeah.
And they'd walk up and they'd be like, I want your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how do I do what you do? Like, how do I, even now people walk up to me like, how did you get in your position? And I'm like, dude, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I kind of know how I got to where I am, but like, not that I'm anywhere, but like, you know what I'm saying? But my point is what I'd always tell people, I'm like, man, just be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I'm like, because if you enjoy hunting, don't be a hunting guide.
Yeah.
Don't be a videographer.
Yeah.
Don't be a DNR officer, and don't own a sports shop.
Yeah.
About the only job that you could probably get away with in the quote unquote hunting industry and still get to hunt a lot is like maybe like a taxidermist.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of own your own thing. You could probably set your own hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just be like, oh yeah, we're closed.
Yeah.
We're closed after 1 o'clock every day. Like, or you do every other week or something. I don't know. But like, I'll tell you what, and I feel like I saw a lot of people that started in it and then it kind of chews you up and spits you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether that was the guiding or the videography side.
Yeah.
Even from an ozonics perspective, you know, we have guys walk up with, oh man, I'd love to work for you guys. Are you guys hiring? And then you start talking to a guy.
And then it's like instantly.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden then they start to backpedal. Oh, well, I live in Michigan. I'm not moving to Iowa, or I live here and I'm not moving there. Or,
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you travel? Like, well, what about in the fall? I want to hunt. Well, dude, like, I mean, we got to try to sell product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you get so much vacation that you can get it approved and go do what you need to do. But like, you're not going to hunt every day in November.
No,
like,
God, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's where I think a lot of people kind of have this misconception. And so, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And it does help too that I have gained such a passion for the filming, because like I still get up and I'm excited to go hunting.
Yeah.
and filming.
Yeah. And all that stuff that I just said, I'm not saying that that I don't love what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to complain. I hope that's not how it comes off.
No,
because, like, I'm just saying, like, you just have to kind of walk into it with your eyes wide open.
Yeah.
You know? And that's been the interesting thing for me. Like, I've kind of seen myself kind of come full circle and now kind of go on a different circle, because when I was a videographer, when I guided, when I got done, I was pretty ready to be done with it. And even now, if you and I can't go together, I'm not bringing a camera.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think and so when I got done with videography and guiding, I was like, nope. And I just wanted to go.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for a lot of years. I just went hunting.
Yeah.
And I felt like that kind of relit a fire and passion in me for it all.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of start to feel like a little bit of a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%.
And I kind of felt like I was just grinding along, and that wasn't enough for me.
Yeah.
Now I feel like and I think you know me, like, I'm pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
Pretty, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm pretty gung ho. But now the funny thing is, I'm coming back around to now where I've got kids. I've got Jet and I've got Bo, Jet especially, who really wants to go. And so this season, especially in these last couple of years, even before I met you, taking Jet out and even just filming it on my cell phone, like when the turkey walked in, and getting that so we could show Tatum, we could show, you know, his grandma and grandpa, you know what I mean? Like Tatum's mom and dad, we could show them, show the kids, just have that so that he could relive that.
Yeah.
That felt really special.
Yeah.
And then now having you here, dude, it's funny that I'm even saying this. I haven't even told you this. This last weekend, you know, you went home for your family Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was New Year's weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I kind of forgot about that. So I thought you were going to be around. And so then I was like, we hunted on Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, Sunday, Monday. And then I was like, oh, and we talked. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll probably get out. You know what I mean? It's good northwest wind. Like, you know, there's some deer around. Like, I'm probably going to try to bring my bow out or whatever. I've got a handgun that I can hunt with too. I was like, that'd be kind of fun. But it's funny because when the rubber met the road, it was so funny. I literally had the thought in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, Nick's not really here. And like, we're not going to get it on video. So it's like,
it's like, what's the point?
And then I was like, I'm doing a lot of stuff for Alaska, and I'm thinking about that all the time. I'm like working on my gear. You've seen my stupid spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So I'm like working on all that. And I was like, gosh, do I want to go? do I want to get him with this Alaska stuff? I'm like, well, Nick's not really here. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's not that big a deal. And it was weird because I was like, I'm not going to go because we're not having a camera there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I've started to realize that I really do enjoy it, and I feel like I'm invested in being able to share it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like even that reel that you just posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, we went out a day and there was unbelievable like fog and frost on the trees.
Yeah.
And then we went out to muzzleloader last week and we just, you know, and it was awesome. Like we just went last Saturday and we got some cool video, and it's really neat to see that. And like, even like have the kids see it and family see it, friends see it. That's really, really fun.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm just kind of weird. I'm kind of coming around on a figure eight here.
Yeah.
Enjoying the camera stuff more than I feel like I did. Because at the beginning of the year, I was really like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
No, and there's something to be said about being able to like capture those memories and like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the most important thing is having the memory ingrained in your brain, but it's so fun to go back and just watch it and relive it.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like doing it. And that's why my passion for it still kind of burns, just because it is cool to be able to just like make something out of something that you love. Like and to be able to do it for a job, like it's a complete blessing. So like it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. I agree. I gotta get a drink.
Not yet. Not ready for a drink yet.
Not ready. Okay. All right. Checking it off the list. Check mark.
Checked it.
All right. Oh man, this can be a testy one, I feel like. Would you rather shoot a 140-inch deer for me or a 125 for you the first couple days of season, or hold out and see what happens? Roll the dice.
Super easy one for me.
I know it is.
Shoot the 125.
And I am holding out, baby.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I've held out, and I held out. I had a Zach Rinn was with me. You could probably find that video somewhere.
Yeah, I think I know where it is.
Yep. And we had a nice deer. We were sitting down at buddy of mine, Chris Davidson, has a spot. We went down there early October. It was right when peak color was happening, and Zach came down. We did some awesome photos. And one of the mornings he was here for a couple of days, I was like, you know what? Let's go down to Linden. Like there's this, you know, Chris doesn't mind, and he's super cool that Chris let me go there, you know, and went to this certain spot. And sure enough, this buck walks in, plenty of daylight, afternoon. And he walked into like 20 yards, leg forward, just stand there. And Zach's like filming it, looking at me and like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, jeez, I don't know. And it wasn't a giant, but it wasn't
deer,
a dink.
though.
It looked like a mature deer.
Yeah.
Good mass, just a nice mainframe 10-pointer.
Yeah.
That, golly. And I just decided not to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look back at that now, and there's been bucks in the years before that I've passed.
Oh yeah.
And then showed buddies and like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have passed a lot trying to, because again, like it's hunting the rut in Iowa sometimes feels like gambling.
Yeah.
Like I want to be at the table rolling the dice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want to give me the dice. Let me roll. And it's like, I feel like if you shoot something, you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't have my own land, so I can't get a landowner tag.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I really love to play.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
And I want to just keep rolling.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. And but the reality is that doesn't always pay off.
Yeah.
Or pay out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely shoot to 125, just because like we just talked about, given what I do here, my opportunity is so slim. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very slim. Whereas if, you know, I had opportunity like you, I'd probably pass it just because I knew, okay, I have more hunts to, you know, get another shot.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, if I have a chance at something like a 125 or 130, I'm going to shoot it every day of the week. Mm-hmm. Because also, in my opinion, I don't care where you are, 130-inch deer is a great buck.
Yep.
I don't care where you are. I mean, if anybody looks down on you for shooting a 130,
They're coming over there.
I don't care where you are.
Unbelievable.
I don't care where you are. A 130-inch deer is a great buck.
Yeah. And you talk about the opportunity part that, you know, that was actually part of what happened last year.
Yeah.
Is had that opportunity, that nice deer. And part of what I kept thinking is just by kind of pure chance, and Scott's schedule didn't work out, he gave me the opportunity to go on this guided hunt at BBD Outfitters.
Yeah.
Buddy and Scott have been putting in, and Scott couldn't work out a schedule, so Buddy was coming, and then I got to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, geez, we're going on this 5-day guided hunt in like primo Southeast Iowa. I'm like, how can I shoot that deer? Like, there's so much opportunity in front of us.
Exactly.
But then the funny thing was, is we go there, and then I had some opportunity at, deer that were roughly the same size as that one, and then I didn't shoot it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Buddy's looking at me like, because I kept saying to him, I'm like, dude, because they have a 145 minimum, and I'm like, Buddy, if a 145 walks by, you stick it.
Yeah.
Don't even think twice. I'm like, we're hunting on camera. We need to get stuff killed on camera.
Yeah.
And then he shoots a buck, and then I didn't. And at the end of the trip, and he said it kind of tongue in cheek, but he's like, yeah, somebody told me that like if a decent deer walks by, like we're here to try to get deer on camera, and then you didn't shoot one. And I'm like, yeah. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. And in the back of mine, I kept thinking, well, I still have a couple weeks to be at the table, and so that's why I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I still got time to hunt. It's not like, and we've talked about that before with residents and non-residents.
Yeah.
That's something that I did not feel coming when we went there to that whole deal is, man, you could kind of feel it in the air. These guys, the sense of anticipation, and a little bit of pressure, but just the fact that they only had a very, very tight window.
Yeah.
They had 5 days.
Right.
And they had flights trying to get home, or they had travel, they had to go home or whatever. And man, it's just like, I don't feel that in Iowa.
Right.
I get that when you go out west and when you're on an elk hunt and all of a sudden but even out west, it just seems like the hunts are longer. You don't allocate just 5 days. You probably allocate 8 to 10.
Yeah.
You understand that the weather's going to play a part.
Yeah.
The animals are going to play a part, things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely pass a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I don't regret that. It's like, the old, I just heard this morning on the radio. They were talking about college football, and they were talking about Nick Saban. And he said that this player used to play for him, and he made a comment. He said, he hates losing more than he likes winning. And I almost just enjoy hunting more than I do harvesting.
Yeah.
If you told me, hey, Cole, you can hunt all year long and you can hunt all season, but you're not going to kill one. And if I knew that beforehand, I would still go.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Exactly.
I just want to be out there. I love hunting.
Right.
It's, shooting something and killing something, harvest something. That's pretty cool too. That's not the end of the world either way.
Right.
It doesn't define my season or me or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Let's move on. Okay. Would you rather go whitetail hunting or go turkey hunting? I already know what you're going to say.
Whitetail hunting.
Yeah. And I'm going to resoundingly say turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
I know it is. I mean, dude, you have a sweet tooth for whitetails.
Yeah,
and I
just
get that.
do. I don't know what I'm so interested in them. I'm just ate up with it kind of.
Yeah.
And it's like I sit there, even right now, I just look at trail cam pictures from 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with it. Full blown obsessed with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you are definitely, but the funny thing is the way you feel about whitetails is kind of, which is funny because I don't know. I grew up as a kid just whitetail hunting, right? Like everybody did. Not everybody does, but when I grew up, I'm 39 years old. So I grew up in the 90s. Bow hunting was not a big thing.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shotgun hunting was where it was at, which as a kid, I always was like, man, this sucks. It's like, there was youth hunting too, but I was like, that was such a tight window. I'm like, man, it's like, I got to wait a whole year for 5 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got old enough to be like, then I got to choose for myself. I'm like, I'm going second shotgun hunting. I get an extra week.
Yeah.
But it was still just such a short window that you look forward to. Mm-hmm. But, and then I started turkey hunting, too. But it was weird because my fire for turkey hunting has really just gone crazy in probably the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That I've really just been like, man, I enjoy it.
I feel like that multiplied too, and because it's so easy for you to take your kids going too.
Oh,
I feel like that helps with that.
I think that's where it really has grown for me exponentially is, I would definitely say the proudest thing I I would definitely say the thing I'm most proud of as a turkey hunter is not, and I haven't shot hundreds of turkeys. I haven't shot 50 turkeys. You know what I mean? I've shot what I've shot. But the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that my little boy Jet is, 7 years old and he shot 6 turkeys.
Yeah.
Shot 2 when he was 4, 2 when he was 5, 2 when he was 6. I mean, that's the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Is that he's been able to experience it and have him walk in.
Yeah.
And watching him shoot him, that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of.
Yeah. And from the outside looking in, too, I think it's super cool that Bo's into it, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
and
like,
it's cool, too, because she isn't having a lot of luck, but, like, she's still going.
I know.
Which is really cool, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote a hunting article years ago for Bow Hunter magazine, and I talked about Jet in that article, and it was about hunting with ozone, actually. Sorry, this is I'll bring it full circle.
Yeah,
So this is like way off, but we talked about hunting with ozone, and part of what I talked about at the end of the article is that when I first started taking Jet, I didn't bring an ozonics.
Right.
I didn't bring it because when I was a kid, my grandpa taught me about the line, right? Hunting the line. And he gave me wind indicator. I puffed the wind indicator. When that deer got on the downwind side, they winded us. So he taught me that the line was where they were going to come. And if they got across that line, they were going to run away. And so I hunted with the line. I grew up with that. I've always hunted the line. And when I started hunting with Jet, I was like, man, do I want to teach him that too? Because it's like if I always take an ozonics and he just gets deer on the downwind side, he doesn't learn that perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, it's not that he will never learn it, because it's not like it works every single time.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, it'll kind of change the way he does things from the way I was taught. So I just decided not to take it. And so for the first full season we went, I just never brought it.
Yeah.
And then this last year, this season is the first year that I started hunting with it with him, and he's asked me a lot about what it is. It's kind of funny to hear a 7-year-old try to explain it to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
But part of what I said in that article is the funny thing is, like, when Jet was little, he had never even shot anything yet, but he was just eaten up with it.
Yeah.
And I see that in Bo.
Yeah.
Bo Daisy, she turned 10, and she is gung-ho for turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And she hunted hard last spring.
She did.
She hunted way harder than Jet did. It just, by pure chance.
Yeah.
The days that I took Bo, and Bo had first crack too.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get it to work out.
Yep.
Then I bring Jet, boom, he'd kill one. And then I take Bo 3 or 4 times, couldn't even get a bird within range.
Yeah.
Take Jet one morning, boom, he kills another one.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. The year before I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I took her all the way until the very end of the season.
Yeah.
And Jet was already tagged out. And I took her. I just couldn't get her one.
Yeah.
But she still is gung-ho, and that's been really, really fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like to see how you get about whitetails and how, like, I mean, you can see it. Like, even when I first met you and we would go out, you just, like, you get real fired up, like a deer on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Like, every time, oh, monster, that's monster buck. Yep, that's monster. I'm like, it's like a dink. It's like a dink city, and he's like freaking out. But I get that way about turkeys.
Yeah.
I mean, they just instantly I go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yep, they're both really fun. Oh, they're both really, really fun. And like I said too, I think we talked about last podcast, 2 podcasts ago. Just, I'm really excited to go turkey hunting again.
Well, we should have this conversation again in like June.
Yeah, because I've never carried a weapon turkey hunting yet. You know what I mean? So that plays a big part in it too. But I still I don't see it completely overtaking deer hunting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the spring. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of good things coming.
And I think what I love about turkey hunting is the same thing I love about whitetail hunting, right? In the whitetail side of things, and the fact that it's just such a small window.
Yeah.
When I had this, and I keep talking about my brother-in-law Justin, but we had this conversation when it got to the end of October. We had that early cold front or mid cold front, right? We had early cold front, then it got warmer, then we had another little cold front, then it became November.
Yeah.
And I remember him and I talked one day, and he goes, and it's so true. He made the comment. He goes, it's just not that magical time.
Yeah.
And that's 100% it.
Yeah.
That's what is so fun about the whitetail rut, is when you get to that magical time when you're just out there and you're sitting there going, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
You know, did I just see 12 bucks in one morning? Like, have I been seeing deer all day long nonstop?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any food. I don't have any water. I can't even get out of the stand.
Yep.
That's those magical days.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't realize you're in it until after.
Yeah.
But that magical time is what is so fun about whitetail hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what we're all kind of chasing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Is just that real magical time.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Checking her off, baby. All right. Oh, this is a good one. Would you rather have dynamite hunting land that you have to hunt with 3 other people, or just an average piece that you get to hunt by yourself?
Oh man, this one's so hard because it's the thing is like to be able to hunt like with buddies like on a piece, like you have to be like so in tune with everybody's mindset.
Well, and I would even, my caveat would be when I say other people, it's not always going to be hunting buddies.
Yeah, because it could be a lease with other random people on there.
Or it could be permission pieces with other people on it.
Exactly.
I think as a hunter myself and having, lived in different places and tried to find spots to hunt and find permission places, that's what you end up doing.
Yeah.
Is you end up walking and knocking on a door and running into somebody, a farmer, husband, wife, whoever it is, grandma,
Yeah.
and they say, yeah, absolutely, go for it. Well, and you learn pretty quick. Is there anybody else out here? Oh, yeah, but they're not going to mind. Oh, okay. Well, at first I didn't know any better. Oh, okay, great. Well, then all of a sudden I've had stuff ripped down.
Yeah.
I've had stuff stolen.
Yeah.
So then you start to figure out, okay, is there anybody else out here? Oh, yeah. Well, do you have their name and number? Can I give them a call?
Yeah.
And then it's a 50-50 shot. Some guys are super cool. Yeah, man, listen, hey, I don't own it. If he wants to give you permission, I totally understand. I do have a bunch of stands set out here. Or I've got a couple stands.
Yeah.
Or you find the guy that's like dropping the F-bomb, telling you, hope you die, fall off a bridge, don't get on, that's my spot, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So it's like, you just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tricky thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it creates so much animosity and like,
Well, what would you rather have?
I think I'd probably stick to my own piece. I think
Yeah.
just a peace of mind. Like, everything that's going on. Like, there's no questions. It's just your spot. You can just go and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's hard because I want to go with that one too, but I'll argue the other side of it.
Okay.
The thing I'll say about hunting with other people is that's what it really comes down to for me. Like I just said, if you don't own it and you have permission like the other guy does,
Yeah.
just work it out.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? And even the places that I have, both the permission pieces that I have, there's other people hunting there,
Yeah. Yep.
and I've had it go both ways.
Yeah.
I've like in, the peak of the rut, I've driven down the road and, oh, hey, there's a guy parked. Like that must be hunting today.
Yeah.
So you pull up and I've had guys be super standoffish.
Yeah.
Won't tell you their name. It's like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
my
Not
name,
that big of a deal.
my name's Cole. What's your name? It's like,
Yeah.
you're going to be hunting out here. I'm hunting out here too. Like we can figure this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but again, like I said, to play devil's advocate, you can't beat good ground,
Yeah, exactly. You really can't.
and the reality is like, even if there's 3 people, they can only be at one place at a time.
Yeah.
So
True.
you can hopefully figure out a way to work it out.
Yeah.
But I would much rather have an okay spot by myself because I don't have any of those right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think what I've realized, and maybe you can attest to this, and I feel like I learned this when I went to Iowa State and I started hunting a lot of public ground all around the Ames, Des Moines area, is what I realized is there was not a lot of people hunting public ground.
Yeah.
I think that has changed a bit because I've gone down to those spots now. We went down to one of those.
Oh my gosh, it was insane.
Oh man, that was such an eye opener. Talk about welcome to 2023. So we went to a spot that I used to hunt when I was at Iowa State, and it's a primo spot, right?
Yeah.
And I had told you numerous times about how all through college I hunted there. I felt like I was hunting a private piece of ground because I never saw anybody else out there. I mean, ever. Like it was like insane. Like I'm like, geez, oh Pete's like like looking on the maps, make sure it's marked right. Like I'm like, what the heck,
Yeah.
Nobody else. And then when I, years and years passed, and like 4 years ago, I went back to it during the peak of the rut, like mid-November. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go do it. So I took a day off of work and I drove down there and I hunted it. I drove down the night before and I slept in my truck. Woke up the next morning, get all my stuff on. Here comes this little white car, pulls up. The guy gets out. You could tell he's kind of like, oh. I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, pretty good. And I just go, hey, man, it's public ground. Oh, no, I know. He's like, where are you from? And I said, I'm actually from like Clear Lake. He's like, what? He's like, how'd you hear about this? And I was like, dude, I used to go to Iowa State. He goes, oh, okay, yeah. He's like, and he goes, I'm like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Des Moines.
Yeah.
And we get to talking, and I was like, dude, there's plenty of ground. Like, where are you thinking of going? He's like, well, I want to go clear to the back. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I was going to go up and then around the corner and da-da-da. And explain. He's like, oh, yeah, I know right where that's at. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm going to do an all-day sit. He's like, yeah, me too. I'm like, perfect. And he's like, he goes, it's funny because he goes, I hunt here a ton. Like, I hunt here all fall.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're the first person I have ever seen here.
Yeah.
First car in the parking lot beside mine. You're the first person. I go, that's how it was when I was here.
Right.
Well, we went down there this year. Yeah, not exactly.
Oh my gosh, it was insane.
How many cell cams did we wave at?
I don't know, probably like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 in like very short distance.
We did not hunt very deep into it.
No,
Like,
not very far at all.
like it was alarming how much there was.
Yeah.
Like there was a ton. Like,
Oh my goodness.
it was honestly like a little weird.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
and here's the thing. I'll say it, and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way. I love Onyx maps.
Yeah.
I love it. I use them all the time. They're really handy. I use them a ton.
Yeah.
Being able to like turn the track on and see where you're going, and
Yeah.
even for a blood trail or just setting cameras and stands, sharing those with people that might not know where they're going, all that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But we live in the day and age of Onyx maps.
Yep.
We live in the day and age where everything is super, no pun intended, literally right at your fingertips.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that place is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, for
Dude,
sure does.
Justin and Justin's dad shot a unbelievable deer.
Yeah.
Just a great deer early.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to keep hunting. Same thing, wants to play at the table. So he goes and gets a bunch of doe tags. So he goes down there. Justin calls me, he's like, yeah, that place isn't like what you described. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, oh my gosh, dude, he ran into a ton of people.
Yeah.
Like every day. Middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, it's so crazy.
People every day. But you know what he said he was? He ran into a ton of guys. He goes, all the guys were under the age of 30, all saddle hunters, and they were all super nice.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He goes, man, you wouldn't believe all the stuff they were carrying.
Yeah.
So they had backpacks full of stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which Marv is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
He used to not even hunt in tree stands. He used to just climb up the tree and stand in it. You know what I mean? Like, and just a hardcore bow hunter.
Yeah.
But it was just funny to see how it's changed, because that place, when we were there too, it was like we're just waving at cell cams or trying to walk behind them. Like it's just like it's so different.
Yeah. It was.
We live in the day and age of Onyx maps and cell cams.
Yeah.
It's just making everything way more at your fingertips.
Yeah. It was like shocking.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either.
Could not believe it. It just makes you wonder how many cameras are on that whole piece.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, how far do you think we were in there? 400 yards, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit farther than that, but not much farther.
Yeah, not much farther at all.
And again, we went down there and we had an afternoon.
Yeah.
We had to be in Des Moines at the distribution place. We had to get some stuff done. And then I was like, well, we're driving back.
Yeah.
So let's just go do it.
Yeah.
And so it worked out.
Yeah.
And that was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something to see for sure.
Yeah. And again, more power to a guy. You know what I mean? I mean, I hunt public ground too.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There's nothing wrong with it.
And you have cell cams on public ground around here, you know, so it is what
exactly.
it is. But yeah, it's just funny how it's definitely changing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Would you rather Midwest hunt or Western hunt?
Midwest.
Western for me.
And that's not an argument. That's actually true.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
definitely do Western hunting. Yeah.
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 And
Not that I don't like Midwest hunting.
Right. And not that I don't like Western hunting, because it was really fun and it was cool to experience it. But
the funny thing about that, from my perspective on this topic, is the fact that when you talk to Western guys, what you hear all those guys say, and when I used to guide in Colorado, the other guides that I worked with, and just even like with some of the stuff I do now, the same thing every people say is they go, man, I don't know how you can sit. how you guys go and sit in a tree stand all day long. I don't get that one. Randy Stoppenhagen's no different.
Yeah.
He'll sit in a tree stand.
Yeah.
But he's just like, it's he's like, man, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
His buddy Matthew, he won't sit.
He's not like that at all.
He's a go-getter, man.
Yeah.
He wants to get out and cover some ground.
Yeah.
And I think that's from a Western hunter's perspective, that's the tricky thing is it seems counterintuitive just to sit in one spot and wait.
Yeah, exactly.
But then in the Midwest, that is looked at as, the preferred way or the most productive way to stay out of sight, out of mind, don't make noise, don't put your scent everywhere, and just let a deer hopefully walk by.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny how that is.
It is. It is funny. It's very different.
And it's not that you can't hunt on the ground in the Midwest and get up, make a move, but generally,
yeah.
I
don't know what it is about the Midwest that I like so much and hunting around here. It's just, I don't know. I really, really, I enjoy it a lot. And I like the scenery around here a lot too. I mean, obviously you can't beat seeing a big mountain and hunting on a mountain, but there's just something about, rolling hills covered in, hardwoods around here. I just think it's beautiful, and it's really cool to be a part of it and in it,
Yeah. And like I said, I love the Midwest too.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I live here, made a life here. I love the Midwest as well, but if I had to pick, I'd definitely pick Western hunting.
Yeah.
The mountains and all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Experience as a whole, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
big country.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, going to the next one.
Okay.
Would you rather shoot 2 20-pound toms with your bow or 1 30-pound tom with a gun? The other caveat to this discussion is that you're hunting the same way for both. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that could mean that you could be on the ground without a blind, shooting with your bow, or on the ground with a gun, not in the blind, or preferably it seems like with your archery hunting, you hunt out of a blind. A lot of guys don't hunt out of a blind too.
Yeah.
But you're doing it the same way, one versus the other.
Yeah. This was kind of tough because I just want to shoot one.
You're already talking twice the numbers already here.
Yeah, exactly. But, ooh, man, I don't know. I really want my first one to be with the bow, so I'm probably going to go with the bow one, but I feel really bad because I feel like that's going to make it tough on you to argue the opposite of me.
No, I mean, here's the thing I'll argue about. In the fact that in all the years that I've turkey hunted, I have never personally touched or weighed a 30-pound bird.
Yeah.
I know they're out there.
Yeah.
But that's really big.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yeah.
30 pounds. That's the most conducive place to shoot a 30-pound bird is in the Midwest.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, Eastern turkey.
Yeah.
The Merriams are a bit smaller. You know what I mean? The Rios can get pretty good size too. But Osceolas are a bit smaller, you know what I mean? So a 30-pound bird, when I was in Colorado, if we shot a 20-pound bird, we were like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And even here, if you shoot a 20-pound bird, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Those 2-year-old screamers are usually 18 pounds, 20 pounds-ish.
Yeah.
But then, every once in a while you get some crankers. My brother-in-law shot a couple years ago a 26-pounder.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Yep.
I have that a little bow scale that you use that you can like zero it and then you hold it. And I've checked it because I'm like, man, is this thing accurate? So I put weight up against it and it is accurate.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I always weigh them as soon as we can. And 26.1 is what it ended up going. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I personally would rather shoot them with my bow. But for the sake of this discussion, a 30-pound turkey is really big.
Big. That's huge.
I don't know say once in a lifetime. I've never come across one that big. That is big.
Yeah, that is big.
Especially the other thing too you got to remember is that 30 pounds when they're coming off a winter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was kind of the joking thing I was talking to you about this year is like I have a fall turkey tag and I have a gun bow combination tag. The gun bow is not in season anymore. And the fall bow might be done too now. But anyway, I kept joking. I'm like, man, can you imagine how big some of those toms would be right now? They had all spring, then they had to get fat. Then they had the summer to get even fatter. Yeah. They come into the fall, they got to be just juicy and ready to go.
Yeah. Easy winter too. So they're just out in the field just picking away like nothing.
Could you imagine how much they weigh right now?
Yeah.
They haven't even really hit the hard part yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
maybe they'll be really big in the spring then.
Well, that's the thing though, is the spring. And I don't know this for sure. I'm just speculation, but I would assume that the winter is where they maybe neck down a little bit because It's kind of hard on them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they can get
Without
around,
a
and
doubt.
they peck around and they find something to eat.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
that cold and everything else, I think it's hard.
Yeah. It's
gotta
hard
be
on it's hard on all animals, really.
You'd think. All right. So you're going with the 2 20 pounds with your bow.
Yeah, 2 with the bow just because I really want to shoot one with my bow.
Yep, I agree. I hear you on that. Okay, so this one is not related to hunting, but kind of is because it becomes a part of pretty much every hunting excursion.
Yes.
Is would you rather stop and or eat at Quick Star / Quick Trip or Casey's?
Quick Trip. Easy. So easy.
Now again, I have to argue this one. So
easy.
listen, there's one thing that Casey's hands down takes the cake on, or takes the pizza on. It's the pizza.
They got good zaw.
Yep. Quick Star's pizza. It's not that good. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know the best Quick Star pizza is the pizza when you walk in and they have the free samples. That's the best because it's free.
Yeah.
And that always tastes good.
Dang, that's a deep.
Free always tastes good.
It's kind of a deep cut.
Well, I'm just telling you. Quick Star pizza, it's not that good. We even got a Quick Star pizza when they were like, hey, look at that, $9.95. Let's get that. Meh.
Yeah, subpar.
Yep. Casey's breakfast pizza in the morning. Go there for lunch. You can get some spicy sausage or beef or pepperoni.
Yep.
And then lately I've figured out something that I've really enjoyed. Biscuits and gravy in the morning. Those are delightful.
Yeah.
Can't get those at Quick Star.
Yeah. They got pretty good chicken strips too.
They've also got good little chicken. They're like chicken nuggets.
Overrated.
What are those things called?
Popcorn chicken.
Popcorn chicken. Those are pretty good. They always have a good sauce selection. They have good barbecue sauce.
Yeah, but guess what they don't have? Boneless wings. Hit the thing.
I don't know which one it is.
Top right. Hit top right.
Yeah, okay.
Their boneless wings are fire.
I hate when you use your young person slang.
They're so good. Those wings, they're just good.
Yeah, their wings are good. The garlic parmesan's good. I don't even dare touch the spicy, whatever they're called, spicy tangy ones.
Sweet and hot.
Sweet, not doing that. And I'm not doing the buffalo, so I have to stick with the barbecue or the gar par.
They're all good, I think.
Yeah.
They're all really good.
But I will say, if you consistently eat at Quick Star and or Casey's day to day, like the both of us do, it's terrible to say.
Guilty.
Yep. I will say that I get burnt out on Quick Star faster than I get burnt out on Casey's. I can go to Casey's and get a Casey's piece of pizza or their biscuits and gravy every day, and I will not get burned out on it. And you know that's true because I've heard you say numerous times, I'm getting a little burned out. And I get a little burned out too. Heck, you got so burned out, you got a corn dog yesterday. A corn dog. You got a corn.
That is true.
You got a corn dog.
Dang it, that's true.
Yep. Now who's laughing? Yeah, that's right. You can't even look at me right now because you know that Casey's is catching up.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. Now, here's the thing. Here's what Quick Star has got going for it. And if anybody's listening from Casey's, I'm sorry.
Broccoli cheddar bites.
Yeah. Quick Star broccoli cheddar bites are really good. Get some of those. But this is constructive criticism. I grew up with Casey's since I was a little kid. I like that Casey's is an Iowa-based company. That's awesome, and I would love to see Casey's continue. But Quick Star is seriously, it's taken a step ahead.
Yes.
Main reason. There's many reasons, but one of the main reasons is just pure space. When you walk into Quick Star, they got space everywhere. They got a whole section just when you walk in, just bakery stuff. Banana cake, pumpkin cake, tons of cooks, donies. They got
Glazers.
donies. They got glazers. They got long johns, cream-filled long johns.
You name it.
They've got these little cookies with chocolate or frosting that just tastes like pure sugar gold on top. They got all sorts of stuff going on. And then right there to the left, they got like a whole like cold, fresh, frozen section. Tons of pizzas. You can call ahead and get the pizza. If you call ahead, they'll cook it for you. They got all sorts of pizzas. You can buy ribeye.
Steak.
You can buy ribs. potatoes. They've got a whole produce section. They got bananas, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, bread, then groceries. You need to get some barbecue sauce. And then I just know the very high level specifics on this, but Quick Star / Quick Trip has their own farms, Quick Trip Farms. So if you get a gallon of their milk, you get their eggs, you'll see it literally says Quick Trip Farms right on there. I'm starting to stutter. And that's pretty cool. So obviously they're cutting out the middleman. They're saving you a little bit of cash, even though milk's still expensive, by the way. Because I've got 4 little munchkins that drink 3 gallons every like 2 days.
When you said that you're starting to stutter, you were stuttering so bad I didn't even realize you said I'm starting to stutter. Just all flowed into one.
So it took a while to register. I'm gonna no, but yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you what, the thing, I love Casey's, but it's the way the stores are laid out, right?
It's terrible.
It's just, Quick Star is so much better. Casey's, we've got a new Casey's in Clear Lake, brand new, pretty new. When you walk in there, it just feels weird. It's like you walk in, there's like the registers right there, but you can't see behind it, and then the pizza's off to the left, and they got these weird aisles over here, and then like, it's just like,
and the register's like kind of up above you a little bit.
Yeah, it's like they're like looking down on you. That feels
like, what are
weird.
you looking down on your customers? No, we're on the same level.
That I didn't feel that way, but I guess that could be maybe a thing. So
it's just a little intimidating.
Yeah, and so it's the way they're laid out first off, and then the thing I'll say too is generally, if you look at the customer service, Quick Star always wins.
Always.
Quick Star people. Hey, how you doing? Did you find everything you need? They usually get in some cheesy upsell, trying to get you to buy some banana cake or get a pizza or something extra, and then it's, thanks, have a great day. They're always super nice.
Yeah.
I've only ran into a couple ornery ones that just seem like they're having a rough day, and everybody does.
Yeah.
But at Casey's, man, oh man, it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Most people half the time people look like they just completely hate what they're doing. But the one that I've had good service at, if you're ever in Mason City, go to the Casey's on the southwest part of town over by Newman Catholic High School. The people in there in the morning, they like being there. They're always super nice. There's a young gal, and I shouldn't say young, but they're like our age, gal and a guy, and they're always really nice. Yeah. Yep. Always super nice.
I'm a diehard Quick Trip fan for life.
Yeah.
When I went to college, I had a Quick Trip, and it was just the convenience store.
How are you saying that?
No gas station.
That's wild.
Self-checkout. Just slick.
No gas pumps.
No gas pumps.
Just convenience.
Convenience. Good food. Good hot food.
I'll tell you what. And then there's one thing. I'm supposed to be playing devil's advocate, but I can't on this one because there's just one thing that Quick Star has that just can't be beaten. And it is the Quick Trip Farms chocolate milk.
Jeez, here we go.
You got to get it in the bowling pin size one.
Everybody strap in here.
Not the half gallon. It's not a half gallon. It's not a full gallon. It's like...
Isn't it a liter or something?
It's got to be a liter of chocolate milk. You can drink it as a meal. It literally just tastes like... It just tastes like melted... It tastes like a melted chocolate milkshake. It might even be whole milk. I don't even know. I think it is. Seriously, it is... I mean, it's a problem for me. It's a real problem. My dad bought. I just can't shake it. That chocolate milk. It's so good. Sometimes I'll go in there and I'll only get like mozzarella sticks. I don't even get a full lunch. I'll just drink chocolate milk. Gosh, that chocolate milk's so good. They had a shortage for a while there. Did you remember that? I do. I was losing it.
It was terrible.
Oh, dude, I went in there and you could tell other people are addicted to it too because all the bowling pins were gone. Then the little Johnsons, they were all gone. Yeah. They were down to the little Slurpee ones, like the little kid ones. Yeah. Those are almost gone. Yeah. I saw one guy grab 4 little small ones. Yeah, he was trying to stack them up.
Unbelievable.
Dude, I'm telling you.
High demand.
Dude, listen, if you haven't gone to Quick Star and gotten their chocolate milk, just go over there. It's got the brown cap. Just grab one. Just
dynamite.
Oh my goodness, it's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
I've never had it.
It's so good that it's only good when it's cold. If you get a little warm, but when it's cold right out of the deal, just tip her up, man. Just go for it.
Just house it.
Dude, yeah. You've been using House a little cavalier. You said you were going to house lunch today, and you had to take it to go box. Just saying. All right.
Sorry.
Let's go. Let's move on. So moral of the story, they're both good, but, and I never thought I'd say this as an Iowan, a hardcore Casey's veteran. Quickstar's catching up. They're
Casey's
maybe leading the way. They're nice.
Yeah.
And I've heard that they have higher quality gas than other gas stations. That might be a rumor, but a buddy of mine's a mechanic told me that. I think it's true.
I do too.
All right.
Heavy Chevy loves running on quick trip gas.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Back to the hunting. Let's stick with it here. 20 acres. Would you rather have 20 acres in Iowa that you can only hunt every 5 years, or 100 acres in a Midwest state of your choice and hunt it every year?
100 acres in a Midwest state.
Oh man.
And I would choose Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's like, this one's a little bit tough because I don't think we can both think about that very objectively because we're Iowa/Wisconsin residents.
Kind of bias.
Yeah. You know, I think that if you ask this question to a bunch of non-residents or a bunch of residents, you would get quite the plethora of answers.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's a lot of people that put in for 5 years for Iowa to hunt, and then there's a lot of guys that hunt Midwestern states every single year never hunt Iowa.
Yeah.
Because they just don't want to wait.
Yeah.
Or they hunt Midwestern states for 4 years, hunt Iowa every fifth.
Yeah. I always think about that. If I had an opportunity to buy land, if I would buy it in Iowa or Wisconsin.
As a resident or a non-resident?
As a Iowa resident.
As an Iowa resident, you definitely buy in Iowa.
I don't know.
Really? Why?
Because it's Wisconsin.
What's so cool about Wisconsin?
I love hunting in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Close to home.
Yeah, but if you... Yeah. See, I'm trying to think about it more objectively. Like if I was going to buy land in Iowa or Wisconsin based on hunting.
No, I know.
Not based on family.
No,
because I get you would always want to buy.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
Because I think you would definitely buy it in Iowa, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you're just talking about hunting.
But if it's because of like
family, and
you definitely do Wisconsin.
Yeah. My bad.
Sorry. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Not that Wisconsin's not good, and you have exponentially more experience with Wisconsin than I do, but I definitely feel like there's been numerous times this year you've been like, this is not like Wisconsin. No. From a but you've got some great deer there too, dude.
Yeah, I know.
You were having that at the beginning of the season where you're like,
yeah.
Do I go there and hunt as a non-resident?
And every single one is dead.
I know, that's so crazy.
Did I tell you that the neighbor shot that real goofy one?
I think you did.
Yeah, they're all dead.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, they're all dead. And did I not call that?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and this isn't really what the question is.
Sorry.
But we're getting way off subject.
Yeah, this is
here.
totally my fault.
No, but you're good. No, but I will say is I think what we've both discussed this fall quite a bit is it feels like there's a lot of people hunting in Iowa.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
But I think when you really get down to business, there's way more people hunting in other states than Iowa.
Yeah.
Way more. Not only more, maybe, I don't know exactly what the non-resident numbers are for Wisconsin, but if you just looked at residents versus residents of Iowa to Wisconsin, it's got to be way more in Wisconsin.
I think so.
Way more.
I think so.
And then then we're not even talking about Michigan, which has got tons of hunters. Pennsylvania. Holy guacamole.
Yeah.
You know, I know non-residents Iowa, it's limited to 6,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And maybe it feels like, I feel like maybe up here the hunting numbers isn't as much as maybe, Southern Iowa or something. But man, it's insane in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Every single person hunts.
Yep.
Like literally everybody.
Yeah. No, I do sense, even when we go to the shows and you talk to people, you definitely feel that. Yeah. And like some of the stats that we had found out about, like just huge tag sales, just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, again, this is kind of off the question just a little bit, but I think another reason I would pick Wisconsin too is because there's so much great public land in Iowa where you don't necessarily need to own land to find some really good hunting.
Yep. I agree.
And Wisconsin has public land, but it's not the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah. To try to be objective, I think I would really, and again, I have to play devil's advocate, but the argument for the 20 acres every 5 years is,
Yeah.
you know, if you can hunt whitetails anywhere, but you can only hunt whitetails in Iowa.
Right.
And 20 acres in Iowa every 5 years, yeah, 20 acres isn't very much. But even if you're just hunting, even if we take the 20 acre part away and you're just hunting public ground,
Yeah.
you can hunt that every 5 years and you can spend, if you can muster a couple weeks,
Yeah.
you know, here,
You got a good chance.
and you put yourself in the stand all day, every day,
Yeah.
or every morning and every afternoon, or however you want to do it,
Yeah.
man, there's a good chance that you're going to have an opportunity at something.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is kind of what you come to Iowa for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So, all right.
Yep, you're 100% right.
All right. We're ending on a good one. I think this is going to be a really good one. Kind of just did this by pure chance because we went top to bottom every other, and we came to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather hunt the entire month of October or have to choose either the first half or second half of November? Man.
I'd hunt October.
Yeah.
I'd hunt the entire month of October, I think. I think a cold front in October is just probably the best time to hunt, I think. Personally, just because you could get a great cold front during the rut, but odds are they could be locked down, which can make it pretty tough. Whereas if you get a cold front in October, they're going to be on their feet, searching, chasing, looking. I think you got a better chance of killing something in October. Not saying, I mean, obviously it's great to hunt in the rut. You always got a chance, but I think I would rather hunt in October.
If I were to have to pick one or the other, and again, I have to play devil's advocate here, I would say second half of November.
Yeah.
Because it just, from my experience, it seems like what you a lot of times see in the month of the first half of November is you see a lot of lockdown.
Yeah.
You know, that first half of November is generally when the does are coming in, you know what I mean? And again, the bucks just get more locked down.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't like about what you said and what's so hard about October is that the big if you get a cold front.
Yeah.
If you don't get a cold front, then you can really get into that, what everybody calls that October lull.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's just like you're just sitting here going, do. To play devil's advocate to that, I think the reason that we talked about this question earlier, and again, I'm supposed to argue this, the November side, but I'm going to say this about October, is what I think is nice about October is it can create some consistency.
Yeah.
You see guys every year that shoot some absolute slobs in early mid-October when those deer are still on food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
some
There's
sort of a summer pattern.
They're on some sort of summer pattern where it's like, you've got a food plot, you've got a bean field, you've got whatever you've got that they're just, hey, they're coming out here. Mm-hmm. Like I've got them out here in this field. I've got an alfalfa field. I've got a ryegrass field. I've got whatever I've got, and they're out here.
Yeah.
Like this buck, he just hasn't been bothered, and every day he walks out. Yeah. And that's where you can really, no pun intended, but you can real bale some hay on a buck like that.
Yeah, and I think too, I feel like people tend to get so excited for that first half of November, and it just ends up it's just slow.
Yeah. The interesting thing is this year was kind of a unique year where usually that first half of November, like you say, it's kind of that lockdown period.
Yeah.
But this year it kind of felt like it kind of hit a little bit later.
Yeah.
Everything kind of moved back.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a cold in early October, then it got warm, then we had another little cold at the end of October.
Yeah.
Then it got really warm. And then that just slowed everything to a crawl.
Yeah.
And then it got to be like November 11, 12, 13, 14. Then it started to pick back up. And then all of a sudden you were seeing bucks just locked down with does in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
Just chasing them wherever they went.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, but again, I've said this year after year, and I have people that walk up and ask me this every year at the shows. When they hear we're from Iowa, they'll say, I've got a tag. When do I come? And I always have said the best time to shoot a really, really big deer is November in the teens.
Yeah.
That's when those slobs will be out walking around.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, those does come in, and then when they start to kick them off, if that buck is going to be searching.
Yeah.
And now that November in the teens this year hit a little bit later.
Yeah.
That felt like it hit like right at the end,
Mm-hmm.
end of November, almost right before the shotgun season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's kind of interesting, how the rut kind of changes.
Yeah.
The weather, whatever, year to year, kind of how it affects things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I hear what you're saying on I'd rather hunt the whole month of October, because especially in northern Iowa and then in, you know, like Wisconsin, Minnesota, you're probably going to get a little bit of cold sometime in October.
Yeah, definitely.
Southern half of Iowa can be kind of tricky.
Yeah,
if you get cold weather in southern half of Iowa, that can be very electric.
Yeah, exactly.
Southern half of Iowa is warm.
Yeah.
You get cold weather in October like that, holy cow, you better watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but again, you can wait on that the whole month, and then all of a sudden it's November, you don't have it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I think if, you know, taking away like picking, I think I would pick 23rd to the 30th of October and the second half of November.
Oh, really? It's like your 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, and then the first half of November, I think. I think that would be mine.
Yeah. Mine would be second half of November, second half of October, then first half of November.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the second half of October can be so inconsistent.
Yeah.
But again, it just depends on the year.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yep. You know, and like I said, if it's a year where all of a sudden there's a cold front happening from like the 25th on, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, it's 20 degrees and it's just turned into total crap.
Yeah.
Count me in.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's super warm and it's like it's 60, 70 degrees in end of October and it's Halloween and all the kids are trick-or-treating in like normal clothes, not any coats or anything, well, that's going to be a little bit,
push it all back.
It's going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love hunting in October though. Really do.
Well, and I definitely think the consistent thing about end of October and second half of November is it's an opportunity where you're going to see bucks on their feet by themselves.
Big time.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because that's what we saw this year. We saw bucks on their feet in October just cruising.
Yep.
And then in the first half of November, we saw a lot of bucks with does.
Yeah.
And then the second half of November, we saw kind of a 50-50, bucks on does, but then bucks kind of cruising.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
And generally those bucks that are still cruising are still trying to find them are generally the slobbers.
Yeah. The big greasers, the big Johnsons.
I'll tell you what, I think it's a good podcast.
Yeah.
Big riff sesh.
Yeah.
I really went off about the Quick Start Case thing. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
I'm telling you though, check out Chocolate Milk.
It's good stuff.
Yep. And I think it's pretty interesting. I think we did a good mixture of, I tried to play devil's advocate, but some of them I just had to agree with you on because I agree with it too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's kind of how we figured it was going to go too.
Yeah.
So,
all right, good podcast. Another one in the books. Thanks for watching. What episode are we on now?
This will be 36.
Episode 36. Ozonics Killerwinds podcast. Another one in the books. What is this? This is going to be second week in January. Holy cow.
Yep.
We're just clicking right along.
2024.
2024, baby.
Oh, that's wrong button.
2024. Over and out. Have a good day. Have a good day.
See you next week.
Hey, that's fire.